It's a basic kind of service standard. It's I don't know if this is possible, but visually you have Maker Faire here, and instead of saying it's a box, this is what Maker Faire is. Instead of doing that, you can just say something like, well, it can be anything in all dimensions from here. There are some core values that are very important to communicate. And like the amateur aspect, because that's really unique, and everybody owns the concept. It's more.
I mean, like maybe amateur celebrating failure and success is something that is
Celebrating process.
yeah, exactly.
Right?
Celebrating the process.
Trying to figure out what the path is. Change the voltage, right? What happened? To be able to get.
There's also this real challenge when people say, oh yeah, it's a festival about innovation. I said, no, it's not about innovation. It's about it's about inventing things. It's not about like making products.
Right.
That's what it's all about. That's something else. It could be a product. And manifest kind of can turn out to be a product. That's the aim. The aim is the playfulness.
Yeah, the aim is.
Wait, it's not a festival of innovation, but what?
It celebrates inventions.
It's the joy of creating.
There you go.
Celebrates the joy of creating.
Yeah. There you go.
Maybe that's also important to kind of tell.
Well, it's not. We're in the playbook. We are not a trade show. That's important, right? And I think it says we are not a trade show, and we are not what's the other thing, and we are not
A craft fair or something like that?
It's not a vendor. Yeah, it's not a
Commercial.
I think there's some.
I read it. I just don't know.
There, and then I find sometimes, it also depends on how you're telling the story, like whether it's through a conversation or visual, or whether it's visual, right? And so then there's sometimes you can just use snippets of words all mashed up together. Like I think on the Mini Maker Faire playbook, our standard byline is like that: build, hack, make, play, tinker, create, invent. Like those kinds of words all just pushed up together, those active words, sometimes can also help to,
Use it to get the pictures.
right.
Otherwise, it won't make any meaning.
Right.
That's the problem is on the phone when I'm talking to sponsors, what do I say?
Right.
I mean, that's a tricky one.
Right.
It's not an arts and crafts fair. I think that's the other one.
What I mean is like
So I don't know if we cribbed this off of you guys, but we wrote in part of our description, Maker Fairs focus on individuality, creative expression, and projects with a bit of flair.
Right. Well, I mean, the standard one is it's a celebration of invention, creativity, and I like this part. This is a classic Dale, and resourcefulness.
Oh, that's good.
It's not always.
I mean, that's one of our
Uncommon
tagwords, right?
sense is
Like and that doesn't use the word innovation, which is that word is so tired.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It's just so plasticized at this point, and it doesn't really capture what's going on here. It's so tied to commerce.
One thing that's thrown around in the group is everybody's a maker, and I don't like that. And the reason why I don't like it is because it confuses me if I don't know what a maker is. Do you know what I mean? People go, well, it's too general. It's too.
But it kind of goes back to, I forgot your name, but it kind of encompasses all these things.
Exactly.
Kind of coming to that realization, oh, I guess I am a maker.
Exactly, and it's so important for everybody to know that. But saying everybody's a maker takes something. It's confusing from the outside. If you already get it, you can go, yeah. But from the outside, it's like,
It's
What?
There is, and then there is. I'd say that there is the other way it gets confusing is that Maker Faire is known now for being kind of universal in subject or content or discipline, except that there's an emphasis on technology and iteration or new edges, right?
Yes.
Like there is
Yes.
something about, I mean, Maker Faire wouldn't be where it is if it wasn't launching, what if it wasn't coming from the open source movement as a culture, coming from out of O'Reilly Media, really being on target and on the dime in terms of open source hardware and the integration between software and hardware as it happened. I mean, that is why there is so much momentum around this particular fair. Was really the first event to actually see it and to talk about it. So that the whole
Yeah.
well, I mean, I don't know that it is going to
Really?
So that is
Yeah, good.
but
Play that back.
to distill that down, that's about there is an emphasis on that's really good. Okay, say it again. Emphasis on. That was really good. Emphasis on
Cross section
between
hardware,
Open source
software, and open source. That feels though like it leaves out the craftspeople.
It does to a degree, but the software tools also are there and benefit, right? Creative pursuits. But it doesn't touch on.
Well, how about that if we finish that with something like that enables creativity?
I mean,
Just to build on what you said now, because I'm working in the science center, so we have this festival in the science center, in the museum science center, and we always have these discussions on what is a science center and how is
Yeah,
a science center
yeah.
for other experiences. And I think from an exploratory message for which is kind of the start of the science center, it's about physical interactions, it's about physical experiences.
Oh, that's good. Physical experiences.
There's something different going on, there's something physical going on, and taking part. That's some of the core values. Yeah, because I mean, you could use a screen, but it's not about playing, it's something about it's about something related to the physical world. That's why you love it.
And the connection with that.
right? Because actually, that was where the idea came from. Was the magazine had started, and Dale wanted a chance for everybody to get together and talk. That was where it started. And what's happened, what's interesting is actually this is the first year, so I do the stage programming for Maker Faire, and we started a stage this year called Meet the Makers. Because what's happened at this fair, unlike the minis, is that the conversations are getting harder to have because of the scale of the event. So that actually we decided to build a stage that where makers get up and tell their story, not just show their project, but they're supposed to show slides of their shop or their workplace or their kitchen table, their favorite tools, stories about what their arc of being a maker was and any kind of epiphanies or special moments as a way to continue that conversation around makers and what makes a maker.
Because I think it's really, we had, when we made this advertisement for the cinema, we had different ideas. And one idea was to have a child sitting with an iPad playing and getting so bored. So he would start to build something out of it, You start like a machine, just use it for something else, not for playing with it. Playing with it in a physical way, So we didn't do that. We didn't bring up. The idea that in the world where everybody talks about apps all the time, there's an app for everything, the Maker movement is about the physical, physical experiences and skills, which is back to those things. Exactly.
Oh yeah, that's actually a great take one.
I sometimes found like, depending on the audience, I get some reaction when you phrase the intellectual life of the hands. getting out of the brain and the talking and more about the doing.
Yeah.
I thought I'll just finish the story with a smoking can, just to tell you, I don't know if you struggle with this. So we made this smoke can because because we needed to make an attraction. So if the people come to see the can, you know, and they would see Maker Faire as well. Come to see the site, to see the smoke can. Because you can see the screen here now. You can see the picture of the can. So in the advertisement, you never get to see the guy, but he never let go with the string. He just he's pushing it, so you never see the smoke ring. But when they came to the festival, they had like every second hour we had a smoke ring show where we built smoke ring cans from the coffee cups and shot smoke rings, and then we made a bigger one with the garbage can. And then finally we had this covered with black mold and had like a fanfare and stuff like that, and then we showed people this big can and they shot smoke rings over their heads like this across a large room. And after that the kids build their own smoke ring cans, you know.
Attractions that inspire a sense of wonder.
Yeah, so it was a connection to something.
That's
you could
that
do back
wonder
then.
has to be in there.
And then the press came. They came because I think also because of the smoke ring can. We're gonna make the biggest smoke ring can in Norway. You know?
But that and did that become a central theme for your marketing and your exposure?
Yeah, I think that was the attractor that made the press to some degree that they came because they didn't know about Maker Faire. It was difficult to explain, so we made this attraction and they came for that.
Very good, because we've found that focusing on a single concept that you can expand on and brand around for almost anything causes far more engagement than anything else. If you have one thing that doesn't describe everything but that hints at it, that's awesome.
Because we show the process of creating stuff, you know, in different scales.
Yeah. I mean, absent the ability to produce something that's fantastic in terms of, you obviously have a media team and all of those resources that an institution has. Okay, but you know, you have a job. You're working. A lot of people are doing Maker Faires as volunteers, so they're doing it at night. They're doing it not because they're getting paid. So there's a big difference in the people that I work with in terms of their resources and their energy. But in the same way, leveraging your anger makers, like starting the year off, or starting the thing off with like, who is my story? Who is my headliner? Who do I build my marketing materials out of? Who do I use? You know, that's where the whole thing about maker profiles, because if you show a maker that's made this crazy robot, you don't have to explain all this stuff on some level, just like the Canon. You just get it.
Like we did Quinn in San Luis Obispo. He was
Right.
a big draw. We had a lot of families come just because we made a point of making a video. Actually, was the one that went to his house with the videographer. And we asked him questions and engaged him, and we put that on our site.
Right.
And I think it got a lot of good press, and we had a lot of good families, a lot of families rather, just that came because of that.
I think one of the sad stories is so many kids, so many people are actually making things and it never makes it out of their garage and nobody gets to see it. And that happens with all the robotics kids. They go to the contest, they don't win, it doesn't make the deal, and they did amazing work. You know, they've got the solar car sitting in the garage, nobody's seen it.
Okay, well, that's a good point actually for the sponsor audience, because Maker Faire is a venue that hasn't existed before. It's filling a gap in the marketplace. It is not a science museum. It's not an art museum. It's not a craft fair. It's providing an opportunity, and it's mirroring the modern age of the internet, right?
There you
It's like
go.
we are all used to juxtaposition. We are all used to interdisciplinary at this point because of that experience of being on the web. And Maker Faire is in some way echoing that, and it is a new venue.
We have so much access to learn stuff, so these kids are doing these amazing, adults too, are doing these amazing things right in our community, but nobody knows it because they aren't part of anything. And it's happening, or they're part of their group, and nobody outside of their group sees it. You know, they might get a shot in the newspaper once. And so it's a place where they can all, I think it's exciting for that. It's disruptive in that way.
Well, should we keep going with this brainstorming, or should we flip and talk about strategies or practical stuff, or should this help? Should we keep going?
I'd like strategy as far as social media and how to engage the community. I tried.
Okay, because actually that's interesting because Jen is social media session later can't come. She was trying to come by standby and she couldn't get on the plane, so she's not going to be here. So, why am I wearing this radio when it's not even on? So, I don't know. Let's talk about. You obviously thought a lot about where to put your energies.
Yeah, I mean, in Norway, some people were reading English, of course, and people can speak English, but we couldn't change the title to a Norwegian title. That's like in Maker Faire, it doesn't make any sense in Norwegian. We couldn't call it, change it to Norwegian, so it was impossible for us to brand it in a way that people will understand it. So try to add something to it in Norwegian, like the festival for creating stuff or something like that.
Like a tagline.
That tagline, yeah. So that's helpful. That's helpful.
That is actually what we decided on as branding. Is that we don't allow translation of the Maker Faire brand logo, that even in China and wherever. But that we created a template for a tagline in another language underneath.
And then the challenge was, of course, which I think they would struggle with, because at least in Norway, it would mean that festival for kids or something like that. Yeah. So we wanted to be more ambitious than that, because for kids it's not. And we couldn't get rid of that. So it's a real communication challenge.
We spent a lot of time explaining Mini.
So how do you explain Mini?
Well, what we did was we did a tag that said, "Why not Maxi Stupendous?" And what we said is, there's nothing Mini about it. Mini, every time you see that, what you need to think of is us. It's local. It means Nashville, right? So Mini just means it's about us. It's not about anybody else. And that's the way we explained it. We basically translated the term in our materials.
Right.